distinguished senators, my name is...
My respected colleagues from both chambers, our esteemed guests, my observation is on paragraph 5 of your submission, where you mentioned that in the proposed 2025 budget, emphasis was placed on safety and security. I think this is very important because our inland waterways have now become death traps. Every year we lose hundreds and hundreds of lives, particularly within, the corridor of Benue, Kebbi, Nasarawa, Anambra, and perhaps even Niger State. And I want you to take very serious note on this, because in my state alone, we lost close to about 400 lives within 1.5 years. And it's even more in Niger, where we have, so many rivers. The same thing with Kwara State, the same thing with Kogi State. So the same thing with Adamawa. So I think the removal of wrecks and locks is very, very important. And not only that, at times overloading on some of the boats that are used is a major cause of accident and is a major cause of death. And you have to liaise very well with the Nigerian Police Force and other security agencies to reduce the number of deaths arising from overloading. I think no amount will be too much for this particular, budget item. And paragraph 6, you intend to donate over 2,000 kilometers. This is a tall order because you don't have the resources, and even federal government didn't have that kind of money to give to the inland waterways. I will suggest that you go on public-private partnership. You allow the private sector to come in and doing the dredging. At the same time, they recover whatever they spend by charging some fees on all vessels, on all boats, going through the river channels. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mohamed Ogoshiona, I represent Nasarawa South. Chairman, sir, distinguished colleagues, Newa, if your dream of dredging 2,000 kilometers of our inland waterways is what you refer to as doing enough to contain flooding, I don't think that is realistic. I don't think that is enough. My reason being that just like other countries have natural disasters year in, year out, flood is becoming part of our lives. Because year in, year out, you have floodings from the Niger flank and the Benue flank. And the Benue flank, you find Adamawa, Benue, Nasarawa, and part of Taraba being hit mostly. And from your records here, in 2024, you spent only 47 million naira for intervention. If spending 47 out of even the budget of 176 that you have projected, that you think you are doing enough, I think that is not enough, because the number of lives lost, the number of properties lost, farms washed away, and things like that, and you are spending only 47 million, which is just 33% of your projected budget. I don't think it's enough. So if you do dredge these waterways, particularly River Benue, you will be going a long way to solving some of these problems, because as long as Cameroon does not stop flushing their dams that will come and wash us away, and these dams are being flushed every year or every 2 years, it's supposed to be enough warning for us to do something to contain the excess waters that will be coming. But we don't until when it happens that we do fire brigade approach. So I will pray that 2025 and 25 projections and subsequent years, please do more than what you did in 2024. Thank you very much.
My own is to do also with the dredging. Are you familiar with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President? You are. And where it speaks to maritime and inland waterways. Let me just read part of it. What it says they want to do, or we want to do as a government. I'll just take the aspects that I feel have to do with the inland waterways, which is embark on a dredging campaign for our most strategically important inland waterways to make and keep them navigable for the passage of goods and people. Then it says, devise a comprehensive plan for the improved use and access to waterways for the transportation of passengers and cargo. Now, I don't see anything that speaks to what I just read from the Renewed Hope agenda of Mr. President in your budget. So,
personnel, you appropriated for about 5.652 billion. No, 5,656,000 for personnel in 2024. And your performance is 90%. And we are all aware in 2024, salary has been increased. So I was expecting to see over 100% performance, but you performed 90. I don't know what has happened, whether some of your staff retired or resigned or something. Then my second question is your projected IGR, which is very, very ambitious. And for me and for us as a parliament, I think what we need to do is to encourage you, because I know last year you are new. So to me, you have understood the work of that place. And if we want to compare NIWA to other countries like Tanzania, to me, our expectation should be higher than 34 billion, not even 34 billion. So what we need to do is to encourage you to bring more money to the system, because as a country, we've been operating our budget on deficit. It was only in 1995 and 1996 we have balanced budget. So if we have agencies such as this that will, provide us with more money, I think what we need to do is to encourage them, and we are encouraging you, God willing, next year we'll be here. So I want you to surprise the committee by generating more than 34 billion. That is my expectation. Then lastly, issue of safety, because this issue of safety keeps on reoccurring, and the more reason why there are issue of accident all the time, to my understanding, is two things. One is lack of awareness, two is overloading. Awareness in sense that most of the stations, you hardly meet newer staff. I don't know whether you are understaffed or you don't have enough mechanism for supervision in most of the stations. Because most times, if issue of accident happen, you understood this overloading. So what mechanism are you putting this year to, try to reduce this to the barest minimum? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
In everything you have to do. Because if we succeed in that dredging to Barrow Port in Niger State, you can imagine the dried ports in northern Nigeria, the economic development. So I think I see that you should focus more on that dredging. And you talk about flooding. What do you intend to do different? Because anytime there's flood in Lokoja, the next thing you see social media that, do you really have House of Rep member representing this place? You see pressure begin to come left, right, center. So you help me do a lot. If you can find a way to cover that flooding. Yeah, thank you very much.
And I think some of our colleagues have remarked already on some of the observations I'm making now. It looks like you have certain line item that seem to be recurring year after year. And I'm wondering whether or not it's just some sort of cut and paste or is actual. If you look at your purchase of office furniture, I just wonder how many times do you purchase furniture in a year? Is this something that is used as if it's a toilet paper or something that at least will last for 4 or 5 years? Your 2024 budget, you have 24 million. And 2025, I'm reading 360. Solar, same thing. 2024, I'm reading 23 million. In 2025, I'm looking at 164. Clearing of aquatic weeds. In 2024, you have 923 million. And in 2025, it's 950 million. The problem I have with this clearing of aquatic weeds, I know they can be coming up seasonally, but if you drive along, what's that, 3rd Mainland Bridge, as you get close to the University of Lagos Harbour, it's an eyesore, and I keep asking myself, why is it, unless it's not under your purview, but if it is, then it's an eyesore because as you drive through that bridge and you look to your right, it's an eyesore. The weeds are just there. It appears no one is paying attention. And if you are spending this kind of money in clearing weeds, then it falls short of what we expect of you. Now, construction and rehabilitation of your headquarters and some area offices. The budget, the question for me is this amount here, will this complete this budget, or is an ongoing project that in 2026 you also present certain amount of money? If it's not, then how much do you think will complete this project so that we know what to expect? Unless, of course, you're saying that this will take care of your headquarters and these offices. These are the questions I have for you. Thank you.
Let's start from my distinguished senator that just spoke. Our local travels and tours, this includes all the 26 area offices that we have across the nation. And this is based from our experience, is based from what we have just spent on the 2024 budget. And we actually budgeted less because the budget is 34 billion revenue budget. It is a budget that, for me, because I grew up in the target enterprise sector all in my life. I've ever worked at least with target. I bathed with it, I slept with it, and I thought of it. So because of that, if you want to spend money, if you want to achieve, you must bake a bigger cake, and you must work to bake that bigger cake. Or else, we will not be able to compete favorably with even Ghana.
That's why it's important for us that we need to gear ourselves. The economy of Nigeria is not an economy that is going to sit back and be providing social responsibilities without going back to work and hand those revenue that you want to spend. Or else we will continue to remain where we are. We have all seen that the mono economy we've been running in the past year cannot take us to anywhere further. And the most important thing for us is not even to create a box. It's for us to generate a box, a new box, that everybody will key into and know that this is the best way to do is to go out, look for money, look for revenue, so that every one of us in the country will be better for it. So that is my ambition, and I don't think is a target that is not achievable. Based the clearing of weeds, and the budgets. Clearing of weeds can be likened to dredging. Dredging, very capital intensive, and these weeds are weeds that when you clear, it comes back. It is a generic things that virtually between October, November, December, it moves from the Atlantics, it moves at least from the oceans into the lagoons. And the way it moves, if you really want to attack it, it may be difficult. The whole budget of NEWA may not be able to sort it out. If you look at the NDDC budget, you can see clearing of icing alone, majorly goes close to about between 7, 8, 9 billion. Is it? Have I been looking? This? Yes, I have to, sir. As a finance man. Thank you, sir. Noted, sir. Okay, sir. About University of Lagos. Weed, yes, weed. We have removed that weed more than 3-4 times, but because it comes regularly and we'll continue to do that. We even actually, apart from the mechanized harvesters that we actually deploy there, we contact the local harvesters in that environment, especially the forgotten that I think is Barua area. We contacted them, so they removed as it comes. But because it comes regularly, that's why it is noticeable. However, I promise that we are going to do our best to make sure that we continue to remove it until at least it's vanished. Dredging of 2,000 kilometer waterways is one of our KPI. We know this KPI is ambitious, and we, the distinguished senators and our distinguished members of our House of Representative Committee, we all know that the president is an ambitious president. And it's like you want to achieve like yesterday. That is why the 2,000 kilometer dredging, at least of our waterways, is not actually propelled by NEWA. It was given by Mr. President that we must achieve this. But unfortunately, just like we said, and I read out in my notes, if we want to achieve 1,500 or 1,700, we can't spend less than 3.7 trillion to dredge at least at that waterway. That's why it is a peculiar problem to us. But we need to start from somewhere. Apart from that dredging, which is capital, we have maintenance dredging, which we have to maintain. That's what we say. Ordinarily, if we don't even do that maintenance dredging, we wouldn't have seen all those even local boats going around. We do the maintenance dredging, which is, of course, at least it's not part of that capital. But in capital, that's why we are appealing seriously to this distinguished house that we want more fund, not from the budget, I think from the contingency, so that we can do more of this to stabilize flooding and to make ease of our inland waterways transportation better. Thank you, sir. Port and Development Levy. Port and Development Levy is, it comes in Nairas and dollars to the Nigerian Port Authority. And if we look at the exchange rate, if we look at the collections in West Africa and even coast, we will discover that what we collect is far, far, far lower than what at least Ghana, Togo, and Cameroon collect. We have sat on this, we have met on this, and we have resolved that that tariff will be increased. Based on that tariff, at least have been increased, that's what gives us the basis, at least to, as I increase this port development levy. We don't want to underscore under budget for whatever we know that it is possible, it is easy to pay, it is a seller's market, it is not a buyer's market, so automatically I think it's something that, and because it's a proposal and it's something that we want to drive to make sure that we achieve it. And that is, I think, budgeting. Budgeting is a statement of aim. You want to attract this revenue to make sure that you want to spend more. And in doing that, you must be firmly rooted, and you must know your onions, and you must be able to know the variables that will allow you to generate that fund. Thank you, sir.
Distinguished senators here present, respected honorable colleagues. I have a very lengthy speech, but having listened to all the contributions made, I think there's no need for me to read my speech. What I will say is that it's just to say that we are all on the same page. The whole thing about dredging or water transportation or inland waterways is just like a human being with 3 legs. And if you look at what is happening in the transport system, you will see for yourself that the road transport is given enough attention by government. The air transport is given enough attention by the government, and the water transportation is completely abandoned. And in this house, we are all saying that the same kind of attention that is given to these 2 sectors should also be reciprocated in this area. And I think that is the unanimous position of this house. And that is why we are saying that there's even need for expansion, there's need for addition. And so I charge each and every one of us to champion that campaign. We all have our own area of influence. Those of us who have direct interaction with the president, we should make the president understand that this area should be given priority, so that we can, of course, it will lead to what they call cost effectiveness in terms of transportation. By the time we are using water for transportation, you know, a lot of money is put into road construction. And by the time this construction is being made, in less than a year, you see that the road will break down because of the traffic and and of course the truck and all that the pressure on the road. You know, by the time we begin to now do that, it will be decongesting the road, and then it will make this road to last. And of course, it's cheaper. And in terms of safety, when you travel through water, it makes a lot of it easy for you. And of course, there will be a lot of economic activities. And those people that live in the inter-area will also have access to some of the goods and services that ordinarily they cannot have access to it. So I think we are unanimous on this, and I think all hands must be on deck to ensure that the same kind of attention that is given to these 2 sectors of transportation should also be given to water transportation. On this note, I want to thank all of you for coming, and I commend the MD for a very articulate presentation. We'll look at some observations that have been made. Collectively, we'll make adjustment, and I'm sure we're going to have a very clean budget that will actually serve the peoples or meet the expectation and the earnings of Nigerians. Once again, I thank you very much, and God bless you.
Attention being given to the roads. and the air transport should be given to the sea or marine transport. We echo that, and the two major issues today are the dredging, and the accident on our waterways. For the dredging, we also will take that up, and then we'll write to the necessary ministry, and even if necessary, the president, to make sure that if you give somebody KPI, an agency KPI, it must be funded for them to achieve the KPI. We agree to that. On accidents on our waterways, while we urge you to continue to empower your marine marshal, this also brought to the fore the issue of coast guards. Coast guards are supposed to be the one monitoring the infractions on the safety procedures adopted by NIWA. For anybody, send them back. And whenever we even have accidents, the search and rescue is for the Coast Guard to so do. That is what is done in a sane climb. I don't see any other agency, military agency, that is patrolling our inland waterways, and it needs to be patrolled. They need to be empowered to so do, and to also nip in the bud the various activities going on the inland waterways. On this note, we thank you for coming. I also thank my colleagues from both chambers, the co-chairman, distinguished members of the press for being with us. Thank you very much. Adjournment.